In this video, we will go over the basics of floors. We are getting into the heart of modeling in Revit. Be sure to visit the link below this video to download my free cheat sheet that will help you remember and learn just the 10 basic things you need to know about Revit in order to be successful. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. I post new videos weekly to learn more tips, tricks, and tutorials about Revit for residential architects. I use Revit out of the box. No plugins, no automation tools, no Dynamo, just out of the box Revit. Let's get to the basics of modeling floors in Revit. Under the Architecture tab, we have the floor command in the build panel. It has a drop down. So if I click the drop down, I have 4 options here. We have floor architectural, which is what you will be using possibly 100% of the time. We have floor structural, floor by face, and floor slab edge. The difference between structural and architectural floors is floor structural are used for a structural analysis. So unless you're a structural engineer, you probably don't need to use floor structural. Floor by face is when you create something in the massing environment, bring that into your project, and you want to create something from that massing environment into a floor. You can simply click on that and it'll turn into a floor. A slab edge is when you want to add something to the floor, like a turn down, like it's showing in this video. Or a lot of times you can add some architectural element, like a decorative edge or something to the floor as well. All right, so if you click the floor tool once, the default is floor architectural. Under the properties dropdown, you might have several options in your template, or you might just have a couple. You either want to find the one you want or create a new one. Create a new one by clicking Edit Type. This brings you to the Edit Type dialog box. If we click Edit under Structure, this might look familiar to you now, like the wall assembly dialog box. So this is the floor assembly dialog box, and it works in the exact way. You can click over for a preview, and let's say, for example, I want to add a finish to this structure, to this concrete floor. I can insert a layer, and then I will move it up because I want it on top of the concrete. I will change this to finish, and then I'll change the material to something. Maybe I'll search for tile. There's a tile. And then the thickness of the tile, maybe I want to have that 3/4 of an inch. And now you can see over in this preview that I have 3/4 of an inch of tile and 4 inches of concrete. And I can press OK. Since I didn't duplicate this, I just changed the 4-inch concrete slab. So I want to rename that, and I'll say 3/4 inch tile. So I know that it's 4-inch concrete and 3/4 inch tile. Generally, you will want to duplicate things. It's very deliberate if you don't duplicate it. And press OK and OK. So now we are in edit mode. You can use these draw tools to draw a line or a box or a polygon. So I'm going to use this rectangle and just draw a rectangle. You can use your temporary dimensions to get the size that you want. And then you can add lines to it if you need a certain shape. Maybe you want to split and trim this. If you do a enclosed shape inside of another enclosed shape, that is going to make a void or an open area in the floor. Once you're done with the perimeter that you want, press a green check mark. And you can see that there's a solid floor here and an open space where I put the box. I'm going to go back to the floor command. If I use the Pick Walls tool, that creates an association to the walls. I could simply just click on the wall. That creates an association to the walls, so when the wall moves, the floor moves with it. You can't actually see the floor boundary because the floor is moving with the wall. to show you another example of how that would work, if I just use the square and press OK, now when I move this wall, the floor is not going to go with it. See, there's the edge of the floor. But if I move that, the floor goes with it. So I'm going to draw a section through this. It might be a little bit easier to see. So this is the floor, this is the wall. If I move the wall, the floor is moving with it. I will urge you to use pick walls whenever possible because it will just eliminate some rework if your walls end up moving. There's a couple other things that floors have. You can add a point. Say I want to add a point to the center. Maybe there's a drain in the center or something, and modify sub-elements. You can click on that point and actually make it slope down. So if I were to go into this section, you can see that that floor is sloping down. Something else you can do is if you had a composite deck and you needed to indicate a span direction, that's what those lines on either side of the line mean. That means that that's the span direction. You can also add a slope to the floor by using the slope arrow. And you'll see this tool in ceilings as well. And over here you say height offset at head, height offset at tail. I'll just say 6 inches. And now if we look at that in section, you can see that that entire floor is sloping. And to check your slope, you can go to the Annotate tab, spot slope, and then you can see that you have an 1/8 inch slope on your floor. Those are the very basics of floors. In the next video, we are going to go over components or families. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.